We're recording. What's up, yo? It's Pat Robo here. I'm just doing a new video, and in this one, I'm going to be ranking childhood TV shows. It's going to be a childhood TV show tier list. So there's all this kind of stuff, like just a mix of stuff. I know that I couldn't include everything. I left some stuff out, but yeah, I chose these like 18 or so shows, and I'm going to be ranking them. So first up, we have Koala Brothers. Koala Brothers was, I don't know, it wasn't the most memorable show, but it was a strong middle tier TV show, I'd say. It had quite an iconic theme song, I reckon, and it was quite Australian, so I reckon it's about worthy of a C tier, personally. Oh shit. Pingu. Now, Pingu's been around for ages. Pingu, I believe, was first released in 1988 or sometime. And, you know, it kind of took on a life of its own after, in the internet age. Yeah, Pingu, I'd say. Pingu was good. I'd put it maybe A tier? Nah, B tier. B tier, I'd say. That's fair. B tier. Bananas in Pajamas. Now, we're talking the OG Bananas in Pajamas. None of this, new, like, none of this new, Indian animation, like, Bananas in Pajamas. We're talking the old, costume one. This shit was, great. This shit was, what every Australian child looked forward to when they went home from primary school or whatever. When they went home from daycare, you know, they were looking forward to this. So, I reckon it's worthy of A tier. Play School. Now, if you're Australian, you definitely know what Play School is. It's had quite a few crossovers with quite a few of these shows. I think it's had crossover with Bananas in Pajamas a few times. And it's gone through so many reiterations. It's just like Play School is like a phoenix. It never dies. It just rises from the ashes again. So I got to give some marks for its longevity. It's got to be A tier for me. Now, Angela Anaconda. This show was bordering on Uncanny Valley. You know, it seemed more like an MK Ultra kind of mind experiment more than legitimate TV show for young children. So I think it's about E tier, personally. Thomas and Friends. Thomas and Friends, another classic one. You know, it was pretty big. I think it had one of the Beatles on there. So, you know, that's when you know you'd made it pretty big. Of course, Thomas and Friends, you know, had the Percy, the Fat Control, all those OG characters. I'd say it's A tier, personally. Now, you might think I'm being a bit too generous here, but you know, these are all mostly classics in their own right. You know, it's so hard to find a fault in some of these. Speaking of classics, Bear in the Big Blue House. This shit was tight, man. Bear in the Big Blue House. It was just, if I could describe it in one word, it would be comfy. I mean, it was such a comfy TV show. It was just you know, it was so soothing. Nothing really happened in it, but nothing needed to happen, you know. It was just yeah, it was just top tier. I reckon S tier, honestly. Yeah, good on you, Bear. Jakers. Now, to be honest, Jakers wasn't really that good. It was, the Scottish accents were interesting, but the duck kind of ruined the show. They just left out the duck, you know. The show might be, you know, D tier instead of E tier, I reckon. What's up next? Postman Pat. Postman Pat was an interesting one. It's a bit like Koala Brothers. It's got quite an interesting theme song going on, so I've got to give props to that. But not much else is going on. You know, it's pretty average show. It feels bad kind of doing this, but it's gonna be a D for me. Um, Peppa Pig. What can I say about Peppa Pig? I mean, it wasn't too bad. It wasn't too bad at all. But it wasn't. There's nothing that really stood out about it. I mean, there wasn't any character development or anything. You know, it was all. It got a bit dry after a while. There wasn't any sense of adventure or exploration. So it has to be a C tier. It was pretty average, to be honest. Around the twist. Now, you know, if you're not Australian, you won't recognise this show. But you know, the best way to describe this would probably be like a PG Stephen King TV show. Like all the episodes were pretty whack. It was like, you know, it was like you'd accidentally taken too much shrooms and you just like, those what the episodes were like, you know, they were pretty random. But it had some pretty kino moments, I reckon. So I reckon it's worthy of a B tier. Arthur. Now, Arthur is a bit like Bear in the Big Blue House, as in like, when you think of it, the memories are just warm and fuzzy. I mean, it had everything going for it. It had great characters, um, you know, like great theme song. Yeah, it just had great longevity. You know, I think those factors really hammer it home. To be honest, I think it's worthy of an S tier, personally. Prank Patrol. Now, Prank Patrol is an interesting one. It's not quite aimed at audiences as young as the rest of us, as young as the rest of these, but I really think that it helps set the precedent for the era of YouTube pranksters. Like, if we didn't have Scott Tweedy, we wouldn't be having like any like the Bradburys or anything like that, or Prank Invasion. I reckon. Like, so I reckon he's really like an icon. He's kind of like the granddaddy of it all. And you know, it was new, it was exciting, it was fresh. It was like when ABC premiered Prank Patrol, it was like, you know, it was like a new era of hope. It was a great show. Bob the Builder. Bob the Builder is another old one. It's gone through a couple of remakes, I believe. But the OG's still remains pretty strong, I'd say. But yeah, nothing really stands out, so I reckon it's worthy of about a B tier. So Jimmy Neutron. Jimmy Neutron, what can I say about that? I mean, Jimmy Neutron was it's an interesting one. It's not exactly, what I'm saying, it's not, sorry, yeah, it's interesting. Um, where would I put Jimmy Neutron? I think Jimmy Neutron's probably worthy of about, did produce a lot of good memes, like a lot of good memes. But was the show honestly that good? I mean, I don't know. It's a tough one. It's a tough one. It's a tough one. B. I'm feeling generous today, so it's a B for me. Lazy Town. Lazy Town. We've all heard before. We've all seen the memes. We know the tragic loss of Robbie Rotten. But how was it as a show? To be honest, like, it wasn't really that good. If I'm being honest, I know it's a bit blasphemous to say this, but I reckon it's only worthy of a D tier. Like, sorry, but really, the characters were annoying, you know. They kind of looked like their faces were melting off, and it's really not what you want to see. Trapped, Trapped. This one's pretty underground. This one's interesting. It was like the whole premise of the whole premise of the show. Sorry, I'm pronouncing premise wrong. The whole premise of the show was basically there was like five, like 9 kids or so, like trapped in like this long ass tower, and there was like this. Actually, the challenges to like escape. It was like this really old giant, and like yeah, yeah, it was weird. It was weird, pretty trippy. Was it good? No, 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 no. It was not good. It wasn't a good show. Um, Teletubbies. Classic, iconic, everyone knows this one. You know, like it's everywhere. But, you know, it's all style, no substance in my opinion. It's only worthy of a C tier. Fireman Sam. Fireman Sam, where would I put that? I mean, I like the values that the show produced. It's like strong, heroic values. And you know, I can respect that, so I think it's worthy of a B tier. Yeah. So that's it, ladies and gentlemen. Here are my rankings. I was feeling pretty generous, so none went an F. Actually, not. Screw this. Fuck this show. This show's an F. Alright, switching around. Alright, this is now the complete. This is a complete tier list of my childhood TV shows. Alright, Pat Robo out.